Hey guys, welcome to the Pilot Jam for December 16th, 2022. We're heading to Christmas. It's almost there. Hope you guys are ready. I know I'm not. Not even close. I have a lot of Christmas work to do. Anyway, I'm going to get started with the hellos and then we're going to get busy because we have some things to get through tonight. And I got some news too. We got all kinds of little bits of news bits and information for everyone tonight. So I saw Hobie get in first, but he's going to be off goofing off at a Christmas party. So it doesn't look like he's going to make it. Anyway, Hobie, thanks for popping in and saying hello and hitting the smash button, smashing the like button. We don't hit the smash button. We smash the like button. Got it? All right. So thanks for that. Appreciate it. Robert, thanks for reminding him. Robert was in number 2. Freddie, I don't know. Freddie didn't even place this time. Win place show, right? He didn't even show. So TK, looking forward to a good Pilot Jam. Me too. I'll tell you what, man. My software tonight was giving me what fur. I couldn't believe it. My imaging software that I use to show images on the screen, it just started crashing for some reason. I don't know why. So I tried to fix it. I couldn't. I went and got another piece of imaging software that did not work. So it's just been a train wreck tonight. I'm a little flustered, as you can tell. Drummond D. Stewart says, good evening, pilots. How are you? Freddie says, is next week the RCVR Christmas party? Yeah, I guess it is, right? The 23rd. Might have to put some Santa theme into it, I guess. Give me the eggnog, says Fred. Wowsy, hello to all. How you doing, Wowsy? Four Eyes, how are you? William Tam is here. Hello, everyone. And I think that's it. Okay, yeah, freaking me out on the sound. I check, that's a new thing. Ever since I started making it part of my setup process and checking purposefully, it's been working. Can you believe that? That's just the way software does you, man. Lonnie's here. How you doing, Lonnie? Glad you can make it. I'll remind you guys when you get in, if you don't mind, just checking in and saying hello so we know who's out there. And then that's it. Let's get started. We got some things to cover tonight. Thanks for your coverage of the Boxer. Looks like a winner to me. Yeah, that Boxer's pretty cool. We're going to talk a little bit about that radio. I've got it handy right here. I figured I'd keep that one close tonight in case you guys wanted to see something about it. So I've got Precious here and I've got the Boxer. I thought maybe we'd spend a little time talking about this one. This is one of those radios that brought up a lot of questions about, form factor and sliders and knobs and pots and compromises and all that stuff. So I saw that in the comments and we'll definitely spend a few minutes talking about it. Anyway, let's do the week in review first. That's up first. And then we're going to get into some material. So over the week, I put in a couple of shorts and one of the shorts was to show focus. I had I'm working with this new camera, this thing that you guys are watching right now. And while I've been working with that, you can see it focusing, right? It focused on my finger there and then it drops back. Well, now it's not going to, right? But it focuses on my hand and then it'll drop off my hands and back onto the thing. So I was working at the field with Dave and it was our first day out. And it was rough, man. The focus on it was rough. And part of the reason for that is that in the consumer grade cameras like the GoPro, for instance, they have what's called a fixed focal length. So there is no zoom, which means they just have this, what they call a hyperfocal plane out to infinity, and they focus on that. And that's why everything on a GoPro is always in focus, although you can't zoom, right? So the GoPro, that was the trade-off. With the GoPro, you can't zoom, but everything was in focus. On this camera, we can do a very significant zoom, but we were having this focus hunting issue. Anyway, one of the shorts showed that I got it figured out, and it has to do with, setting, learning what your hyperfocal length is and then actually turning off autofocus. So it sounds counterintuitive, but that's what worked out to be the answer. And I put up a short showing that I got this airplane flying by very clear, very crystal clear in the video viewfinder and on the video. So I was happy with that, but I know it sounds like a few steps back and a few steps forward, but believe me when I tell you the new camera gives us some new capabilities because we have different kinds of lenses. I can get different photographic quality depending on these features called depth of field. The color tones are better. The image quality is better. Everything about it is better. But now I have to learn all these freaking knobs and switches, and I'm not an AV guy. It's not what I do. So I have to figure it all out. Anyway, that's what that video was about. And then let's see. We did the flying RC planes and learning the new camera gear. That's the one I was just talking about at the field with Dave. And on that note, I'm going to talk a little bit about this in news, but Dave and I are going to be trying a new field out. So more about that in a little while. Hang tight. We'll talk about that. There's some good stuff going on at that. It's not a new field, but it's new to us. So we're going to try something new out. Anyway, Tony Jenkins is here. Thanks for got that. William Tam, can we get the game package on RTX? You know, I haven't tried that yet, William. I need to. I'm sure it will, but I need to try it. I haven't tried it out yet. He's referring to the Lua scripts that are on the Boxer radio that let you play games. That's the reference there. So anyway, the video for flying planes and learning new camera gear, that was a learning video. And I'm not going to say we're done learning. There's probably going to be more. But what I can say, if you guys caught it in that video, was that the interview stuff was really good. You know, where we actually used the autofocus the way we're supposed to. And I had a chance to interview Dave. And then there was one scene when I kind of zoomed way in on Dave and he was talking about the plane and some of his issues with landing gear. That all worked fantastic. So those are some of the benefits we get out of the new camera system that will be up and coming as we learn to exploit the technology, right? That's the game. So more to come for sure. And I do appreciate you guys being cool about it and not busting my chops about, oh, it's just a camera. How hard is it to focus? It's not that simple. So there's definitely a lot of knobs and dials on this thing that I need to get familiar with. I could put it in auto mode probably and have a pretty good result, but that's not why I bought it. You know, I got it because I want to learn to exploit the capabilities of the device. So I appreciate you guys being cool about it and being patient. I promise you we will make the investment and learn and get better. So anyway, next up was how to manage Lua on EdgeTX. And I kind of felt like that video was long overdue. I haven't really spent any real time in terms of radio instructions or tutorials on dealing with Lua. And it wasn't meant to be an all-encompassing. When I first started shooting that video, I actually went and grabbed every freaking Lua. I grabbed all of it. I grabbed the Yapu, the iNav. I grabbed all of it. And I started installing it and explaining it. And I thought, you know, this is going to make my eyes bleed. And I'm the one making the material. So I opted to shorten it down and condense it to just a few. And the main objective was to give you guys examples on how you could use the extensibility type Lua scripts like Fly Me to the Moon, and how you could use a widget as a Lua script as a widget, like in that show all switches thing. So that was the intention of that video. Hopefully there was enough there to, if you're not familiar with Lua, to get you a little bit more comfortable with using it and where things go depending on the type of script that you download. So that was the objective of that video. And that actually got pretty good response, but it was certainly overshadowed by number 4 on the week, which is the Radio Master Boxer. Everybody was interested in that. That got a lot of hits. I did over 3,200 hits on that in the first day. So there's certainly some interest on that one. And I appreciate you guys watching that one. And that certainly generated some conversation. That's for sure. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And then we'll wrap it up with the Pilot Jam. So that's the week in review. It was good. It was a good week. This is the 5th video of the week. If you don't count the shorts, then it's 4 videos in the week. But that's still a lot, man. That's still a pretty good lift. And let's see. I'm going to check questions and then we'll move on. So Tony Jenkins, got you. William, can we get the game package? Got that. Lonnie says, yeah, it took me a while to turn off autofocus when videoing full size. Yeah, Lonnie sounds, yeah, you know, you think you turn it on autofocus and it has all these different modes, right? It's got the tracking mode, the oval zone mode, the vertical and horizontal modes, the square mode, they have this autofocus 255 mode, which is supposed to use 255 boxes on the screen. And it's supposed to pinpoint on the thing that, you know, the big problem that I had was I had the damn depth of field really shallow. So I had a very small focal length or a wide aperture. And that's one of the main issues that I had because I was doing the interviews and it never really occurred to me to bump that f-stop down and make the aperture smaller. And that's what created, I think, a lot of the focus hunting issues that I saw. But with that out of the way, while I was studying that part and figuring that out, I also learned about this concept called the hyperfocal length. And once you reach a certain distance, you can go into manual mode and basically, when the aperture is set right, everything is in focus. So that's the thing that I learned. And yeah, that's what we'll be doing going forward. And I think we'll get a pretty good result. So I'm hoping that it turns out better. The David Knutz is in the house from Texas. How you doing, David? Jeff H is here, and 27 watching, only 17 likes. Yeah, if you guys smash that like button, that'd be cool. And also, hey, while we're at it, I did leave a nice post on Patreon today for the patrons to let them, you know, get a little inside look at what's going on in terms of me working on the scenery and the desktop and all of that business. And I just want to give the patrons specifically a shout out because they contribute to the channel, and they help me offset the cost of running the channel. I can tell you this channel does not pay for itself yet. A lot of it still comes out of my wallet. So I just want to let you guys know that how much I appreciate you when you jump in and help, because you're certainly helping me with the financial burden. And when it comes to the camera gear, that was a lump. Let me tell you, that was a big lump to swallow for the channel. So I'm really grateful for those who jump into Patreon, and remind you, if you like what you find here and you're willing to help out, I've got a tier for $3 a month. So you can jump in for as little as $3 if you'd like to help out. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for reminding me, Dave, on the likes, and for doing the patron, the reminder on the patron thing. There is the day at the field video right there. I was out flying the Edge, actually, with the Boxer. I flew it with the Boxer and my production radio, so I flew it with both. But the Boxer did great. I had a good time flying it. So anyway, let's see. Next subject. Let's move on. Let's see, week in review. Oh, the Radio Master Boxer. So yeah, I thought I would get this one out, and we're going to go into a little bit of we may as well keep Robert occupied while I bring the Boxer out. And I don't really have anything particular to go over that I didn't cover in the video, but I thought you guys might have some questions. I thought there might be some things you might want to ask about that I maybe didn't cover, and I'd open it up and give you a chance to maybe interact live if there's something you want to see without, I mean, I don't really want to take it apart on a live show, but I could, I guess, if we needed to, I could, if there was a good enough question for it. But the Boxer, I'll tell you one thing that really surprised me, and I think Radio Master did a really good job on the launch keeping things secret, but that 6200 milliamp hour, oh, I already stole it. I put it in Precious. I was doing it was the Lua script video, and I was running out of battery, so I had to steal it. I forgot about that. But anyway, yeah, that 6200 milliamp hour battery, that was a nice treat. Here it is. I have it in Precious. I borrowed it. Yeah, that bad boy. So as soon as those become available, I'm going to grab those. I know they have the 5000 out there, and you can get those today, but that's 25% bigger, man. There's more power, more flight time. And for me, I always have these things sitting on. You know, I'm doing these videos, these bench videos. I always leave them sitting on for hours at a time. So I'll always take a bigger battery. I'm always happy to do that. But I want to go back and bring the questions up and just see if there's anything you guys want to know or see about this thing. I don't see anything so far. So regarding the games, let me show you. I thought I'd show you the games too, because I only covered those briefly, and they have asteroids on here. I haven't learned. Let me zoom in. I haven't really. There we go. I guess it just shoots automatically, and you steer it around. How cool is that? Yeah, it just fires. You guys remember Asteroids, don't you? That was a great game. I remember playing that game. The camera's having a hard time getting that brightness level. There it is. Isn't that neat? So it just shoots the little. You guys remember that game from when you were a kid in the arcade? I do. So that's Asteroids. They've got Breakout. That's one of these games where you hit the ball, you know, and break out the levels up top. I don't know how you launch the ball. Pull stick up. Oh, there you go. Whoops. Cool. Yeah, that's kind of neat, man. It gives you something to do at the field while you're flying. So I'll put those on the TX16S and we'll take a look. I'll see if it works. They have a simulator game too. It's an FPV simulator. I played around with that briefly, but I think the idea is that you fly around through these gates. You lean forward and just fly. I guess the idea is to fly down through these gates. Oh, there it is. There, you got to use the collector. Yeah, you're actually flying it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So neat stuff. I'll put them on the TX16S and see what happens. The CPU was the same. It's a VTG6, so I don't think it's the same as the TX16S. I think I'm not sure what the difference is because I've never really gone and looked them up. I only really call those out because some people ask the question about it. Does it have a timer too? Yeah, oh yeah, it has a timer. If you go into the model settings and then hit page right, you can find the timer right there. There it is. There's the timer. I don't know if you mean game timer or flight timer, but yeah, it definitely has a timer. See that? So you can set, it has all three. That's an EdgeTX function more so than a radio function, but yeah, there's 3 timers on there. So anyway, that's that. And then the other games, they had Tetris, and then of course Agent Light. I didn't run Agent Light, but this is Express LRS, so it should work. Let's try it. Yeah, there's a Radio Master Boxer. And there you go. There's the Agent Light running the configuration script for the Radio Master, or for the Express LRS module inside. So I'm really happy to see the integration of Express LRS in mainstream production. I think personally that that's just brilliant. I think seeing these radios come out with Express LRS from the factory, it's a very integrated look, no external module required. It's just part of the system now. I'm really pleased with that because I think the radio tech behind Express LRS is exceptionally good. I've been flying my fixed wing airplanes with it, quads. I haven't flown a helicopter yet. I think Rob is flying helicopters. So how about servo delay? I don't really follow the question on servo delay. The sticks on this are analog though. So if that's your question, if you're referencing the digital gimbals on the FlySky, you don't really have that problem on these because these are analog. They're analog. So the time slicing is done by an ADC filter on the device, and it gets the analog signal in real time. So I think the operating system handles that. I really don't think we have that issue on analog gimbals. I love the internal ELRS module. Any idea if it's compatible? Let's see, compatible. My screen cut off with the TX16S. Hoping it will be one day standalone module for the TX16S. Yeah, you can get a TX16S with ELRS today. The Mark II. When they came out with the Mark II, they did the internal ELRS. So you can do that. You can get it now. How about servo? Oh, servo delay. Oh yeah, servo delay for flaps. I got you. Model Planes wants to know about servo delay for flaps. So let's scroll back. That's a model. I think that's in the mixer settings. So we'll just go into the mixer, and I'll edit this one. Let's see. Edit, and I think it's in here. Delay right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me zoom in. See, that's really not a radio feature per se. That's an EdgeTX feature again. Same thing. So you go in the mixer and you can add delays if you want to for flaps and stuff like that. So you can do a delay up and down, and you can do a slow travel, slow up and down as well if you want to do that. I don't know how good that would be on a stick, for example. I think you'd really want to maybe do that either on a pot or maybe even a switch. You know, if you wanted to do a switch, you'd probably want to do that. That's what I would think. But yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, this is the idea. Thanks for asking the questions, Model Planes. That's what I was hoping for, was that there might be a couple of extra questions about the radio that I didn't maybe cover in the review video, and I wanted to give you guys a chance to get a second look. I'm going to tell you right now, fellas, one thing about this radio that got my attention immediately was how it felt in the hand. It is a ridiculously, oddly comfortable radio in the hand. And you know, one of the issues I think I have with some of those gamepad style radios is that they have this toyish quality to it. And I don't really care for that. I know that, you know, I don't want to bash on Jumper, but the Jumper T Lite radio, the T8 Lite, I don't remember the name of that. I think it was called a T Lite. That one just feels like a little toy to me. I don't like it. I don't like the way it just feels too light. It feels too small. Like I don't take it seriously. This thing, it feels just like a full-size radio. It's just shorter. It doesn't have, you know, obviously it doesn't have the big color screen, which is nice. You know, the color screen is definitely a nice touch. And you don't have as many facilities, right? You don't have the sliders. That was one of the gripes that I saw, was no sliders. And I know, you know, for some people that means, you know, that's meaningful. You can't trivialize it, right? Sliders are a thing. And for a long time, when I flew FPV long range, I used sliders for pan and tilt. And for me, that would be a deal breaker. You know, I'd want that pan and tilt on those sliders. And then when I was in the warbird phase, I used the sliders for flaps and gear. You know, so I definitely understand that. And, you know, the thing is, the radio is not for everybody. It fits, you know, a segment, right? There's a small subset of people, or a smaller subset of people that would be interested in this radio. But it's really hard to argue the compactness of this thing. So that strap folds over, the gimbal protector goes on top, you throw it in a bag, it's lightweight. You know, if you're going to travel, this would be a great travel radio, be a very good trainer radio for a youngster. It's not necessarily about smaller hands in this case, though. Just to warn you, it's not like the TX12, which is definitely a smaller radio. This one feels very close to a full-size radio in the hand. So I don't think that's the design of this one, right? It's not what they're after here. What they're after is a compact radio that has full-size gimbals. I did confirm too, this is something I did not mention in the video, but you'll get it here on the Pilot Jam, that the TX12 is not going away. This does not replace the TX12. This augments the lineup, so it fills the space between the TX12 and the TX16S. So 4i says, have you tried the 6 position button? I mean, I've pressed them. I haven't had any problems. I did do a calibration. You know, if you want to see the calibration, we can do that. Let me back out of the model setup. We'll go into calibration, and I'll just come over here to hardware. We'll hit calibration. I don't want to calibrate. We want to do the analogs, right? It's an analog, I think. Yeah, there it is. It's A7. Of course, I didn't have my pointer. Shut up. Don't judge me. Okay, A7 right here. There's number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it says negative 30, negative 96. That's interesting. Because, yeah, normally I thought this went negative 100 to positive 100. So that's interesting. Is there something you know that I don't know there, 4eyes? That's an interesting call out. I wonder if I calibrate it, what happens? Now I want to calibrate it. I want to press enter to start. We have to center everything. We'll center this. Another question I got asked about is the pots. I'm embarrassed that I didn't mention this in the video. The pots are excellent. The pots are really good. They have a really strong center D, ridiculously good center detent. It's not so bad that you'll feel like once you get there it's locked, but you'll know it when you hit it. So it's an excellent center detent on this one, no question. All right, we got all our sticks centered. I'm going to press enter. Move the sticks and pots. So up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right. Move our pots, and I'm going to move the 6 position switch. I wonder if 4eyes is onto something here. What did I not catch? I feel like I want to know more about that. Yeah, you know, I see that. It's only going halfway up. Interesting. Interesting. Now, just because I know what's going to happen now, they're going to say, well, you didn't center at the start. Let's see. Oh, let's see. There it goes. Now it's going all the way up. Okay, let's try. Oops, I went too far. We got to see this. This is a question's got, there it is. I must not have calibrated it. There it is. Now it's correct. There's negative 100. That's better. 80, 20, 19, 59. I still don't know why they dropped the 1 there. I'm really curious about that, Edge guys. Why do we drop the 1 there? Why is that? Why is that? We get on this side where we're negative 100, 60, negative 20, and then we drop 1. We go to the 19. Why is that? That happens on all these. 59. I know the Edge guys will watch. Maybe the answer in comments, Edge guys. Tell us what's up with that. I'm curious about why we drop 1 there. It's happened on pretty much every radio I've got. It does that same thing. I got this thing right in a light stream. It doesn't. Isn't that embarrassing? Let's see. We'll switch to this one. Does that help? Not really. I still have that overhead light. I need a shade. I need a shade. Here. Maybe that'll help. I just twisted the light around a little bit. But yeah, I don't know why it drops that. But good catch, 4eyes. Yeah, I didn't notice that initially. But yeah, the 6 position seems to work okay. I just got the M2. Have you made a video on how to put the info from the M1 on the M2? They're the same thing. The M1 and M2, if you're using the OMP hobby protocol, it's really the same thing. You should be able to just copy one from the other, bind and fly, honestly. Okay, Model Plane says, I'm sorry if I'm asking too much, but could you tell me if this TX will bind a Radio Link RX? Not this one. If you get the foreign one, it will, depending on your protocol. So if you want the Radio Link, you have to use the protocol for that. You need the 4-in-1 module. And I'll go ahead and bring up I'll bring up a web browser and I'll take a look while we're talking here. I will show you the multi-protocol module page. This is what everybody needs to be familiar with, this multi-protocol module page. And of course, I'm not going to be able to find it. One moment, I'm going to find it. EdgeTX. I don't know why I have such a problem. I have too many links, I think. Create your own webcam versioning. I don't know what I did with it. There it is. Multi-protocol module protocols. So here we go. Let's take a look at this and I'll show you. Let me flip over to the workspace and we'll take a look. So what you need to do is get this URL, and I'll put this in the description after the video for you. But you want to go into the multi-protocol module website and you have to look for your radio. So there's a table down here that'll explain what's available. And you said Radio Link. So you want to scroll down to Radio Link, and this shows you it's got Surface, Air, and Dumbo. So there's at least 3 different protocols. And when you click on this, you'll be able to see what protocols are supported. So sub-protocol Surface, sub-protocol Air, and it looks like it supports Air protocol, TXs, T8FB, T8S, compatible RXs. So here you go. Here are the receivers it would work with. So that'll give you an idea on radio link of what you can combine with. All right, it's a good idea to get a look at the multi-protocol module website, the protocol list, and that will teach you, what you need to know about what protocols work. But in that one, here's the key. You got to get the 4-in-1. Don't get this. So the CC2500, I actually saw an error on one of the review sites. I won't say who it was in Canada, but he said that the CC2400 is a 4-in-1, and that's just wrong. It's flat wrong. That's not true. That's not the way it works. The CC2500 really is a limited protocol set, a subset. So when you look at a 4-in-1 module, the CC2500 is one of the chips of the 4. So the CC2500 supports some protocols like FreeSky, and I think Graupner and a couple of others. But it is just one of the chips on a 4-in-1 module. When you buy a 4-in-1, you get a CC2500 plus 3 other modules. That's what makes it a 4-in-1. So while technically the CC2500 is multi-protocol by definition because it supports more than one protocol, it is not a 4-in-1. They're very different. And that's why the CC2500 versions of the radio are cheaper. So if you go out and buy a CC2500, you'll be able to bind with stuff like FreeSky D8 and D16 and a couple of others, but it won't have the full suite of protocols available in a 4-in-1 module. There is a very discrete difference, and it really kind of pisses me off when I see reviewers out there giving bad information, and that information was wrong. He said flat out the CC2500 is a 4-in-1. No, it's not a 4-in-1. That's just wrong. You got to be careful who you listen to. Yeah, Robert knows who it is. Let's see. More specifically, the 1-watt fan cooled internal module. Let's see here. I love the internal. Is it compatible with TX one day B standalone module? Oh, you're asking about the internal cooled? Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. So what Model Planes is asking for is, or sorry, what Michael is asking about is the internal cooling fan on the little boxer. If that cooling fan is compatible with the internal modules on the Radiomaster TX16S, it might be. It never occurred to me to see about taking that apart and seeing if I could mount it inside a TX16S. It might be. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one though. Unfortunately, I can't answer that one, bud. Sorry. That is a good question though. Maybe some experimentation is in order at some point. Alan Heilman says hello from Oklahoma. Well, hello from Florida, Alan. Glad you can make it. Let's see, what size module does it take? It is a standard JR. So if you're asking about the module on the back, that's a standard JR bay. So any XJTs or standard Express LRS modules you can fit in there. I'll do it. I'll put the Ranger. It's going to look ridiculous in there, but I'll put the Ranger on there if you guys want to see it. Like I said, it's going to look a little silly. I think I have the, I'm zooming too far. There we go. So there's the Ranger. Put that on there. So it works. It'll fit. That's the Ranger. Looks good, I guess. If you want a great big, well, you guys know you can upgrade this. It's not an upgrade. You can enable 2 watts. I'm not going to talk about how you do it because, I just don't want to teach you how to violate the FCC rules and ham radio operation rules, but it can be done. It's not hard to do. So there it is with the module. So standard module bay, any XJ size module will be fine in there. No worries. All right, let's see. What other questions? Hey, is the 100 hertz polling rate of the EL18 from the gimbals or the TX hardware? It's from the gimbals. It's from the gimbals. The gimbals use a digital chip on the FlySky gimbals, and because they don't allow that chip to be polled, the radio can't interact with it. It can't line up the TX output with that polling rate on the gimbals. So it's an issue with the hardware on the gimbals. And what needs to happen is they need to switch the controller chip on those gimbals to something that's pollable by firmware. That's the problem. So let's see. Pacific Northwest Pilot says stingy, I guess. Okay, I'm not following. Stingy. I don't know what that means. He even said only 2 choices. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did say that. He did say only 2 choices. There are 3 different models. There's a $99 version and 2 $139 versions. The 139s are Express LRS and the 4-in-1. So there are 3 different iterations of this radio available on Radio Master or for pre-order. And use my links. You guys use my links, man. Go when you go buy this stuff. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. So use my links. I'll put them in the description of this video since we're talking about the Boxer, but definitely use the links. It helps. Every little bit helps, man. We're a community. You guys help me. I help you. We do stuff. It's all good. Use the links. You learn here, right? Stingy is a pilot who came up with Mr. Steel. Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't know that. Came up with Mr. Steel. Okay, let's see. I think that's it on the Boxer. I'll have it here if you guys want to, see anything else about it, or if you have any other questions, we can always bring it back out. I'm going to set it aside for now, and I'm just going to put it off the desk here. One moment. All right, I figured I wanted to tell you guys that you don't know it yet, but you have been unwitting participants in a trial. You didn't know, though. Kept it secret. Let's see. Still clearing the desk off here. Okay, let's see. I'm going to switch cameras. I'm going to turn this one off and bring this one on. There we go. So, quick little look. You guys didn't know this, but you have been unwitting participants in a trial. Check that bad boy out. Look at that. That looks like something out of Darth Vader's bathtub. I'm only experimenting with it right now. It's new to me, and I'll tell you a little bit about it in a moment. So let me just switch. I saw the LEDs blinking. I was like, oh no, I hope it doesn't cut the video. So what that thing is, no, it's not LSD mind control, Robert. That's funny. Nope, it's not mind control. It's so I had another company reach out to me and ask me if I would take a look because I do live streams. And they said, hey, would you be willing to look at a capture card for us and do a video? And as I've told you guys in the past, from time to time, I get these requests by AV companies to look at AV gear because I'm running a YouTube channel. I'm doing stuff like this live stream. Now, here's the cool thing about that card that they sent me and that has been running the live stream. So everything that you guys have seen, on this live stream, this camera right here, that's all being fed by that capture card. Now, the reason this is cool is because that one is a 4K card. Now, let me explain why that matters. When I use this camera, normally you guys know how these cameras work. You put an SD card in the camera and then you film stuff and then you take the SD card out of the camera, you put it in the computer, you download it, you put it in an editor and you do your thing, right? Well, OBS is a technology that allows me to do scenes, right? You guys have seen this because you watch these live streams. When I flip around like this, I bring this scene up and then say I bring up my workspace, for example. When these things all come up, what happens is I'm switching scenes inside OBS. Now, the problem that I've had up until now is that in OBS, I've only been able to feed it 1080p. So the only capture card that I've had, the last one I bought, fed it only 1080p, not 4K. Now, the photogs out there are going to be like, well, you really don't need 4K. And I do kind of agree with that. But here's the deal. YouTube treats 4K videos better. They don't compress them as much as they do 1080p. So forget about whether or not you can actually see that resolution. I'm firmly in that camp. Most people can't even see 4K anyway, unless you're sitting really close to a monitor and it's right in front of you. Then you can see the detail. But if you're watching it on a TV or on a small phone, or if you're not really up on it, you can't tell the difference anyway. But what you can see in 1080p is YouTube compresses the devil out of 1080p footage, but they don't give it the same treatment on 4K. That's why I like uploading in 4K. Honestly, 4K is a pain in the neck because it's harder on the computer. It's bigger files. It runs the batteries harder. It runs the CPUs hotter. It's just a pain in the neck. 1080p is a lot easier to work with. It's a lot faster to edit. It never overheats anything. The file size is much smaller. It's just a better for the YouTuber for sure. But YouTube treats 1080p like a redheaded stepchild, and it compresses the devil out of it. So anyway, that card gives me 4K, and that means I can feed a 4K stream into OBS, which means now instead of running the SD card and taking the video off the SD card in that camera, I can actually utilize OBS in the production of videos, which I have done in the past, but when I do, I'm limited to 1080p, just so you know. Or I could upscale. Those are options too. You can upscale, but I've done upscaling before, and I'm not really pleased with the results. It looks a little grainy. So anyway, bottom line here is I'll be doing a video this week on that card, so be patient. I know it's not RC related specifically, but, it's for the channel, And I'm putting it out there to help other YouTubers and people who might be interested in capture cards. You know, you might be interested in pulling HDMI information into your computer yourself. Maybe you're working on something for the family or the kids or, you know, the wife, whatever. You can do that. So I just wanted to let you guys know that that's going to be coming. That's going to be coming up. All right. So little unwitting participation. I decided to be bold and I thought, well, the best test I can give this thing is a live video. So what I'm going to do when I do my review is I'm actually going to pull this live stream video into that video as B-roll. And I'm going to say, I ran a full, you know, live stream with it and it worked great. And so far, looks like it's carrying water. Looks like it's doing the job. So I've been pleased with it so far. Anyway. All right, Tony Jakin says, I had company show up. We'll have to catch the replay. All right, Tony, take care. And let's see. He also said the 2500 chip was 4-in-1 in his review of the Boxer. Yeah, he did. He did say that. He did say that. And that's why you guys got to be careful about who you listen to out there. I mean, I don't mean to disparage him. I know he's got good intentions, but why he's doing technical reviews, he just... Anyway, okay, let's move. Why is my topic empty? What's going on? The Boxer? Okay, there it is. Let's see. 4K capture. Oh, hey, how about that? That was the next topic. So we just did it. I did it without putting it up on the Cryon. So we're already on to the next thing, which is viewer Q&A. Man, we are cooking right along. All right, let's go into the workspace. I'm gonna clean up the desk a little bit, and then we're gonna flip over to the workspace. So here we go. Now, this part, I told you guys my image viewer went south on me. It just kind of crapped the bed. It wouldn't let me, I don't know why, man, but it wouldn't let me load up for some reason. I really don't understand what happened. And this one, for whatever reason, in OBS does not allow me to manipulate the boxes. So normally what happens is I use technology to get rid of all these controls, but for some reason it's just not working. So you guys are just going to have to see the ugly window. You have to deal with it. You have to deal with the ugly window. Oliver joined. Oliver's got his new Edge 540 out. He's got his, that's a 38-inch he got from Northwest RC. He's been out flying that this week and putting that to the test. So welcome to the show, Oliver. Okay, so let's get into viewer Q&A. And this one from Jeff H. So Jeff H, I know Jeff H is on too. So Jeff H gave me a little plug. This is less of a Q&A. It's more of a little, I'm going to call it an endorsement. So Jeff, thank you for noticing. You know I'm not perfect. You know, I do the best I can with reviews. And in the case of the Boxer, I did take it apart, and I do like to show you guys, you know, what's going on inside. So Jeff, I appreciate that you recognize that and that you took the time to call it out. I do try and give you guys the extra, right? We tend to go a little deep in this channel. So I appreciate you recognizing that. All right, here's what I mean, man. This is not my normal software. What the heck? Why? What? All right. We'll skip on to the next one. Maybe we'll skip on to the next one. Where's the next one? Oh my gosh, what a disaster. Let's try it this way. I'll have to go into the folder and bring them up manually, I guess. It's a pain in the neck. Here, watch. Since you guys are watching, let's try it. Yep, it just crashed. It just crashed again. Unbelievable. I don't know why. I've been using that photo viewer for a long time. I've never had that kind of issue with it. I wonder if this will let me go. Will it let me? Yeah, there it goes. Now it lets me move on to the next one. I don't know, man. Whatever. Friggin' technology lately. Okay, so the next comment is, let me zoom this window. I guess I'll try and zoom it in just a little so you guys can see better. That looks okay, right? You guys can see that? Okay, the next comment for Jano Reiger. This is another endorsement, but I'm also using it to help somebody out. It sounds like a mathematics lesson. He's talking about the companion tutorial, the tuner setup. Thanks for the tutorials. I wish to have useful tutorials in the German language, but I'm afraid there are no such pros like you in Germany. Well, the first thing I'm going to say is you're just not aware of the pros in Germany. That's what I'm going to say. And I'm not sure if it's Journo or Journot. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but I know there are certain people that watch these videos. I'm going to encourage you guys. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to set up a YouTube channel in the German language and start doing some tutorials on OpenTX or EdgeTX, ExpressLRS in German, because I'm getting asked for it. And Journot, I appreciate the comment. Thanks for watching. And I try and turn subtitles on. I try and remember YouTube is finicky about it sometimes, but anyway, I appreciate the comment. And I will tell you that you do have some absolute professionals in Germany that could show you this stuff. So Maybe one of you guys want to hop on that. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Oh, look, we're going to be jerks about moving on to the next image again, right? All right, here we go. Based on your videos, this is from Michael. He says, based on your videos, I just started with EdgeTX and the TX16S, so thank you. Edge has a lot of preloaded Lua scripts. Is there anywhere these various pre-installed Lua scripts are documented? In the video, you're dropping several of these, which I want to do as well, but I'm not sure what I'm doing. Where can I find these various pre-installed Lua scripts are for? Thanks. So here's the thing, guys, and that's a really good question, because the answer is that most of them, I can't say most. Most is not, some of them. There are certainly Lua scripts that are not documented. Okay, that's a fact. What I would suggest to you, though, and this was my answer to him on the channel, was go find the source of the material. You know, go to the that Lua scripts download that I showed you. Go to the source, find the author's page, find the author's website or the GitHub, and start looking through the GitHub. That's probably your best option. Or go out to the author's website directly and see if you can find information there. So I agree with Michael that it can be somewhat challenging to find documentation on how these Lua scripts work. I would say that most of the complicated scripts like Yapu and iNav probably do have some pretty good documentation. So, you know, check out the documents within the GitHub itself. And if that doesn't work for you, see if you can find the author's website. So that's an honest question. And I do appreciate that one, because I've been frustrated with the way Lua works myself. It seems like, you know, programmers, I think, will admit they're not the best at documentation. Normally, that's kind of like a separate skill set. So Steel Rain FPV says, hands down. Oh, this is another plug. Steel Rain says, hands down, the best channel tutorial for everything EdgeTX, OpenTX, and their associated radio hardware. He's right. I agree. I couldn't agree more. I just gave him a little love sign for that one. I gave him a thumbs up. You guys need, this is the channel for OpenTX, EdgeTX at this point, Express LRS. So come here, get your stuff, use my affiliate links, subscribe, subscribe. Hey, if you're not subscribed, only, you know, 60%, it's down 10%, but a full 60% of the people that consume the content on this channel, which by the way is 1,000 videos. We just went over 1,000 videos this week. 60% of the people that watch my stuff don't subscribe. That's not cool. You got to subscribe, man. I'm a little tiny YouTube channel. It help a brother out. Subscribe. You know, it's just one of those, it's cool to do that. And it's cool to leave thumbs up and comments, leave comments in video. All that stuff helps. Oh, and you know what else I've learned? We're going to talk about this in news too. I'm also learning some retention. I'm working on retention techniques, because the hard, brutal reality is that YouTube viewers have the attention span of goldfish. So I've been working on retention techniques to try and keep the retention on the videos longer. So you guys are going to see a change in format. Keep an eye out. You're going to see it. I'm curious to know. I already mentioned this to the patrons. I wonder if you guys have caught it, because I've already done it a couple times. I wonder. Okay, let's see. Next one. How does the 6200 milliamp hour? Okay, so I like this question. This is OM3N. Oh, 0M3N. I can't. That's like a vanity tag, and I'm not very good at deciphering those. So maybe you guys can help me out. Oh, it's 0M3N. Omthon? I don't know. He says, how does the 6200 battery compare to the 5000 when using the XT30 on a module? So what he's talking about, oh, I took the module off the radio. Here. So here's what he's talking about. He's talking about using the XT60 or XT30 connector on the battery and plugging it in directly to the module on the bottom. So he's saying, will the 6200 milliamp have enough punch for higher output? Okay, let's clarify a couple things. Now, one of the developers popped in and he did make a comment about why you might want to do that. And it basically had to do with easing the internal load on the circuitry inside the radio. So by plugging directly in, if you do enable the 2-watt mode on this module, you can feed the current load from the bottom. And so I asked the question back. I said, so what if we're just at 1 watt? And oh, by the way, if you're using dynamic power, how much time are you actually flying around literally at 2 watts? And on Express LRS, I think most of you would be probably surprised that not much, right? It's probably going to be a lot lower than you think. But it's an honest question, so let's answer the question. If you guys think about it in terms of wattage, right? If you just to do a simple math, and I know Jeff's here, so Jeff's going to answer. Jeff, get your, you don't even need a calculator. Jeff will answer it without a calculator. Robert probably will too. But if let's just do a little math equation, okay? And the intention is to teach you guys a little bit about how to think through these problems. So the question is presented. He says, will this battery have enough punch to power this? So let's talk about what it means by punch. What he's talking about with punch is current. Okay, so if we have well, let's just say it's 1 watt. We have a 1 watt module and it's fed on the back by a 5-volt pin. How much current does that take, Jeff? I know Jeff's going to do it instantly. Anybody else want to take a poke at it? You know the wattage, you know the voltage. That means you know what the current is. You can tell, look, it's a formula. Volts times amps equals watts, right? So if you know it's pulling 1 watt, you have it set to 1 watt, and let's say you turn it up to 1 watt. Let's say you force it to 1 watt. So there's no variability in the equation. You've got there, okay, so you got 1 watt and you've got 5 volts, right? 0.2 amps, that's what it's taken, 200 milliamps, right? 0.2 amps, that's it. The battery has no problem delivering 0.2 amps over XT30. Believe me, no problem delivering 0.2. If it's designed with lithium-ion batteries, which I'm sure it is, they generally have the capability of delivering at least, even the lower end 21700s, even those have the ability of delivering 5 amps, no problem. So 0.2 amps, nothing to it. No concerns. It's no concerns. All right. So it's a good question, but learn the math, right? Learn to do the math. When you see concepts like volts, amps, and watts, and you ask questions like, does it have enough punch for higher output? Do the math. Now let's adjust the equation a little bit. Let's say we're using 2 watts. Let's say we want a 2 watt arrangement. We do the software manipulation on this. We turn it up to 2 watts and we're at 5 volts, right? What's the formula there? How many amps are we pulling? It should be pretty simple. We just double it, right? Because the voltage stays the same. We're basically doubling up the wattage, so the amperage doubles, right? It's 0.4. That's what the draw is. So even a half an amp, and then throw in another half an amp for the radio. So the radio screen, the sticks, the controllers, the lights, the analog, whatever you want to say, throw in another half an amp. So you're looking at 1 amp total for the module and the radio together. 1 amp. That's nothing on these batteries. Trust me when I tell you, that's nothing for these batteries. There's no problem with that. Now, there is a question on whether or not running at 2 amps, not 2 amps, at 2 watts internally over these pins on the internal circuitry, which is rated at 5 volts, there is a question on the strain that might put on the LDO. So I put that back on the developers. I said, so let's understand this. Is there a point that we need to understand in terms of what the limitations are in terms of voltage draw on those 5-volt pins? What is it? And if that's the case, also, what is the deal with running it at 1 watt? Is that a problem? I don't think it is, right? I seriously don't think it is. But if we're going to have these types of conversations, let's not speculate. Let's do the math and figure it out. Let's answer the questions. Let's not just guess. So I do appreciate these types of questions because it indicates, number one, that somebody's thinking about the problem. They're saying, hey, wait a minute, hold on. If we're going to do like an unusual load on the circuit, does the battery support it? Does radio support it? It's a good question, right? I like these types of questions because they're thinking. But my answer back is learn to do the math, because it's really not that hard to do the math, right? You can do volts times amps is watts. So once you understand that relationship, you can either divide watts by either volts or amps and get the answer, or you can multiply volts times amps or amps times volts to get the watts. So once you learn that formula, a lot of this stuff starts to get really easy to figure out. That's the bottom line. So, learn to do it. That's a suggestion. Thanks, Jeff, for participating. I knew you'd jump in. Okay, let's see. This was a great question. This was by Cruise Roy Helicopters. He said, man, I got 2.8, no model wizard. Okay, so first answer, here's the deal. Here's the deal. A lot of guys will answer this going, why do you need the model wizard? And I freaking hate answers like that, because it's not what the man's asking, right? I'm not his daddy. I'm not his daddy. Cruise Roy says, hey, I don't have a model wizard. Is my firmware corrupt? So here's what I'm going to encourage you guys to do when you're out there on the internet. Don't answer him by saying, why do you want a model wizard? That's what I think, right? Because I hate the model wizard. And it's not that I hate it. I just think you need to learn to configure the models on your own. I'm like dad on the medicine, right? Take your medicine. Learn to configure the model. And if you do that, you can forget about the wizard and you'll never need it again, because you just don't need it. It's not that hard to learn to configure your models on the own. Get over the wizard. It's just a crutch. But that's not what the man asked. So I answered his question. I said, no, it's not a corrupt firmware. The wizard is a Lua script, and it's not part of the firmware. It just so happens I recently released a Lua video. Here's where you can learn a little bit about Lua. And after watching that, here's the location of the wizard. That's the way you answer a freaking question, okay? So this is the thing you guys got to do when you're out there on the internet. Somebody asks a question, give an answer. If you don't know the answer, don't say anything. And if then later, if you want to engage in dialogue, that's fine too, right? That's cool, right? That's cool to say, hey, by the way, here's the answer to your question, but FYI, you might do better if you got rid of the wizard. That's fair ball, right? But the point is nothing, I'm I watch YouTube too. And I participate in certain areas under an assumed name. And when I'm participating, it makes me absolutely nuts when I see people come in and say, but why do you think you need to use the wizard? Why do you think you need to use the pot? Why do you think you need, hey man, if he wanted advice on the pot or the wizard or whatever, he would have asked, but that's not what they asked for. So don't be one of those guys, man. Just answer the question. That's the thing. And that's what I tried to do with Cruiseroy. And then he also asked questions about the heli tab. And I said, go to the EdgeTX Discord and they'll compile you one, so that's no problem. Anyway, he apologized for dumb questions. I said, these aren't dumb questions, they're honest questions. And I have no problem working with those. So that's my encouragement to you guys, right? Get out there and answer questions, but try and, help answer the question first. And then if you want to, offer some advice, do that, but answer the person's question first, because we're not their dad. You're not their dad. All right. Larry Chambliss says, hey, great job. Learned a lot. I had one problem. When I finished the radio, would not recognize the internal 4-in-1 module. Could you help? I saved this one for last because I'm going to skip over to the zoom in screen. And I want to show you this because I've seen this question come up so many times lately. I'm going to put this module. No, you know what? I'll leave the module out for now. Okay, I've seen this question come up a lot. So we're going to go into radio settings. I just wanted to show this to you guys because this one comes up and I've actually been bit by this one. So if you're having problems, and here's the issue. If you go into the model setup and you go into the internal RF and you click on this and you don't have that option for multi, this one got me the first time. I don't know when it changed. Somewhere along the line in EdgeTX it changed. And it took me a little while to figure it out. But when that happens, if that happens, press on the system button and then go over to the hardware page and then scroll down a little bit and you'll see that I already skipped it. It's right there. They rearranged the page a little bit. You see that option right there that says multi? That's what you're looking for. So you want to set your internal RF type to multi. So click on that. And if you're using if you're using Express LRS as your internal module, you put it on CRSF. Okay. Or if you happen to have an XJT, this is more for FreeSky radios, not Radio Master. You might use the XJT module, but in the case of a 4-in-1, you want to put it on multi. And when you do that, that should give you the option when you're in the model settings to go into your internal RF and select multi. So I wanted to share that one with you because I've seen that one quite a bit. That question seems to come up, and it definitely got me the first time that I did it. So that's it. All right, let's see. I'm going to scroll back and take a look at questions, and then we're going to scoot on. That's the Q&A for the night. So let's see. Take a deep breath, RC. Never seen your face, John. Robert says he has a face for radio. That's funny. Robert's funny man. Funny man. I'll kill you last, Robert. All right. David Canute says, come on, 25K. I need a boxer. Give me the boxers just around the corner. Hey, you never know. You never know. Robert says only 70% of you like this video. Hit that thumbs up. Yeah, on that note, thumbs up help, man. It's good to help, help out, help with placement, help with positioning. It's easy. Hit the thumbs up. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. TK, have you totally abandoned OpenTX for Edge? I appreciate the OpenTX vids. Helped me a lot. Thanks, John. Will the FS Paladin FreeSky, the FS Paladin coming soon? The Paladin. Oh, the FlySky Paladin coming soon. Will I be able to run EdgeTX with an external JR module? I can't answer questions about the Paladin yet because I don't have my hands on one. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure to answer that one. And I wouldn't. Yes, I've left OpenTX. I've said goodbye to OpenTX and I've moved on. It's time. EdgeTX is the answer at this point. And I even put a video on why it's time to switch. I made that video. I have nothing but respect and love for OpenTX. Believe me, I have no hard feelings with them at all. I know there's some YouTube channels out there who give them crap, and I just refuse to do that. I think OpenTX is a fantastic operating system firmware. It's not fantastic firmware. The updates are coming a little slow these days, but there's still nothing wrong with it. It's an outstanding firmware if you want to use that on your radio by all means. But in terms of content, yeah, my content's really going to be focused on EdgeTX going forward. Yeah, no doubt. Let's see. Drawn 3 droid. Don't know if it has a high enough C rating for 2-watt output. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe it might puff. Maybe. The C rating won't be affected now. There's no problems with these pulling 2 watts. No problem. Okay, TK, that link shared is for Paladin. Thanks, Robert. Check it out anytime. Ben Tech says Model Aviation Magazine has a nice article on Edge in the January 2023 issue. Has a mention for RC video reviews. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I heard Ben Tech. I want to. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to that article. I knew that was coming, and I hope they put a picture of my or URL or something for the channel in there. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that's coming out in January. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be referenced in an aviation magazine. Cool, huh? OpenTX was like the first girlfriend, just not marriage material. That's where Edge came in. Yeah, Edge. Robert, Edge is that one that caused you to kind of stray a little bit. You were in a committed relationship for a little while. And it's like that meme video where that dude saw the girl walking by and he turned around and looked and his girlfriend was standing right there. Yeah, that's not a bad characterization there, Robert. That's kind of what happened with Edge a little bit. You guys reminded me. I'm going to have to download this and show it to you. I wasn't going to do it tonight, but what the heck? Let's have a little fun. Why not? Why not? Let me get, since Robert went into the marriage route, let's just have a little, let's goof off a little bit. I have to do it because I saw this, man. And when I saw it, I absolutely thought it was hysterical. So I have to open with my stupid Photos app. I hate Microsoft applications. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like them. Okay. So speaking of, there it is. Speaking of the wife and the girlfriend arrangement, the guy who came up with this, his name is Dan McMillan. I will try and find his YouTube channel and put a link to where I found this in the YouTube channel so you guys can get a copy of it and go watch the video. You know, it's not my material. I found this on a YouTube channel and I thought it was so funny. I had to take a picture of it. So this guy, he says, I've been a computer scientist all my life. I've been married for 20 plus years. And I've been trying to figure out how to understand what the logic in being married is and how to maintain a happy marriage. So he goes, I applied a logic map to it that we use in computer science. So you have AND gates and OR gates. Any developers are going to probably be chuckling right now. But you have AND gates and OR gates. And the AND gate means if this and that, then yes, right? If this and not that, then no. And if not this and this, then no. And then if not this and not this, then no. And then an OR gate is if either one of these inputs, A and B, are the same, then it's yes. So he used the logic map from computer programming to say, I had to figure out how to maintain the happy marriage. And here's what I came up with. In the first scenario, if Don is wrong and Laura is right, then the result is Laura is right. This is the logic map. I just found this absolutely hilarious. He said, now, if Don is right and Laura is right, then Laura's right. That's the or on condition. And then he says, if Don is right and Laura is wrong, Laura's still right. Because that's the or condition, right? That's so funny. If you do any programming at all, you'll laugh at this. And then Don says, if Don is wrong and Laura's wrong, then Don is wrong. I shared this with my wife and she just thought it was absolutely hilarious. Again, I'll try and put his link. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel in the video description. I want to give credit where credit's due, but that was, I thought, absolutely hilarious, man. Too funny. Since Robert brought up the girlfriend thing, I thought I would mention that one. I wasn't going to do it, but for what the heck. All right. OpenTX girlfriend, funny guy. JB gave, yeah, 4i says JB gave me a shout out. I heard about that. Yeah, I saw that. So Joshua Bardwell gave me a shout out on the gimbal polling rate issue on the EL18. Yeah, so I saw it. Dan McMillan there. Robert posted it for us. Dan McMillan, funny guy. That was a funny guy. Hilarious video. I got a real chuckle out of that. He presented it way better than I did too. Like he gets, he's a comedian. He gets paid for it. Robert's also a comedian. If you didn't know, that's his second job. I'm glad he has a plan A. I'm glad the comedian thing is just Robert's plan B, but Robert does have a plan B, and that's the fall back on the comedian role. Right, Robert? Okay. All right, viewer Q&A, that's that. Okay, oh, big news, the EF NWRC merger. Let's go back to the workspace, and I'm going to pop this up. Let's see, we got that one, we got the merger, and that. So this news was broken by Oliver. I'm giving credit to Oliver for sharing this. It went out to everybody kind of at the same time, but he posted it first on Discord and mentioned it. So it looks like Extreme Flight and Northwest RC are now merged. It's a done deal. And Extreme Flight or Northwest is going to be closing up shop in the great Northwest of Washington State. And they're going to be moving the family. Tim's going to be moving the family to the Georgia area. And he'll be a part owner of Extreme Flight as well as general manager. So that's kind of exciting news. I mean, you know, it sounds like from the article that Extreme will continue carrying Skywing, which is awesome. I'm really happy to hear that because, as you well know, I've become a little invested in Skywing. I like their products. I like Extreme products too. I think they're, you know, to me, they're equivalents, right? You know, a little bit of differences in how they fly and how they're, you know, how they're put together and their techniques a little bit, but they're on par with each other, right? They're very close in terms of equivalence. So all I can say is that I kind of, you know, as a consumer, I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, I'd really rather have the competition, but it's not like there was any real deviation in price outside of things like shipping anyway. They were always pretty much locked in. And Skywing, you know, their prices were a little lower than Extreme Flight. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Don't know what's going to happen. It's interesting to hear, but it looks like it's a done deal. Tim and the family are moving to Georgia. And from what I understand, I hear that I guess there'll be a warehouse on the West Coast for a while, at least at some point. So we don't know details about that. But yeah, it looks like Northwest RC and Extreme Flight are folded together now, and they have become one. They've merged. So thought that was interesting news. I know for you guys outside the US, that's less interesting. I get it. But the reason this is kind of big news to me is because these are the two places in my mind in the US where if you want a really good balsa plane, this is like two of the three places you go. The other one being, of course, Precision Aerobatics. So I like PA planes. They're a different kind of formula, but still super high quality, right? No mistakes about that. Super high quality stuff. But yeah, so one of the three places you go, and now it's down to two. So that's interesting. Interesting stuff. Interesting development. Robert says, Plan B was moving in with John and family when Plan A. Hey, Robert, man, you know, I don't know. We might have to get a different workspace for you because I've already got my garage pretty well packed and I know what kind of planes you're bringing, but I do have a bed for you. So if you need a couch, brother, I got you covered. I don't have a basement in Florida, man. It's sand. All right, let's see. I think we're getting close to the end. That's the merger. Yeah, that's close to the end. Then we got the coming up part. So we'll go back to the desktop and I'll talk about what's coming up. So news. I got some news for you guys. The first bit of news is that Dave and I are going to be trying a new field. Now, there's no drama. You know, there's nothing about it other than the new field is actually about half the distance for me. So it'll be a lot closer for me to get to the new field. And it's a little farther for Dave. It's about double the distance for Dave. But here, the main reason that we're trying a new field out is because of the runway. This new field has a 487 foot runway. My current field is only 280 feet. So 285 feet. So the new runway, much bigger, much flatter. It doesn't have all the whoop-de-doos. So it's definitely a different arrangement. So it's closer. It's got a longer, much bigger runway. And it also doesn't have the same tree line that we have at our current field. The tree line is way, way, way farther away. And so we're going to be trying the new field out. We're going there on Sunday. We're going to do some video. We're going to still practice. I'm not saying I've aced the camera situation yet, but I'm certainly feeling much better about it. So we'll try the new camera again. You know, we'll try and get a little footage. We'll bring that back and we'll be updating you guys as we go on that. But the new field, I haven't joined it yet. I'm flying as a guest. But if the new field works out, I'll probably join and we'll spend some time over there as well. And I think Dave is probably making the switch. I really get the sense that he wants to make the switch. So that's the big news on the week. And then the other news is that I'll be doing I already told you guys one of the videos this week is going to be the review on the HDMI capture card. And I'll be trying to do my next desk video will absolutely be using that HDMI capture card, because I really want to be able to feed that 4K into OBS and use OBS as the aggregator for the video content. So just heads up on that, a little more experimentation. The next thing I wanted to address too, and I mentioned this earlier, is that I've been studying a little bit about, continuing to grow a channel and trying to make the content better, which is why I've, made the investment in the camera. I continue to work on the audio gear, and I'll also be changing the format of the videos just a little bit. I've already made some tweaks, but what I think you guys, one of the questions I get all the time is, can I put chapter markers in? And I think for a pilot jam, it kind of makes sense. But for production videos, I think I'm going to stop doing that. And the reason is because I can see what happens in production, right? I see what happens in production. So I think I'm probably going to stop with the chapter markers. But I'm also going to be trimming and revamping the presentation style quite a bit. So you'll see it. You'll see it. I've already done one video like that, and I'll be changing the format just a little bit. So keep an eye on the channel. I'll be interested in your feedback on the new production techniques that I'll be deploying, in terms of putting production videos out. I'm curious to have your feedback, especially for you guys here on the Pilot Jam, because you tend to be a little closer to the channel than the average bear anyway. So I'll be curious to hear your feedback on the new production methods that I employ when I'm cutting videos together for the channel. So keep an eye on that, and you'll see those changes coming up. So from your video with the plane on the runway, do you have hills in Florida? Not much, dude. Not much. They're more like lumps than hills. Florida is flat. Florida. Now, if you get up into the Panhandle, there are some whoop-de-doos, going across I-10. But in general, Florida is pretty flat, man. And what hills we do have are mostly man-made. So, John, would current status of remote ID be a topic of interest for a future jam? I've talked about it before, Jeff, but honestly, if you guys are interested, I can talk about remote ID. I actually have done some in-depth studying. I've read the book. I read the law. I read the FAA's position on it. And I've actually produced material on it. It's on the channel if you want to see. I haven't touched on remote ID in quite a while, but my attitude about remote ID is F them. All I can say is that I hope that nobody complies. I hope nobody buys the damn thing. I hope if they find remote ID, they turn it off, crush it, blend it, and screw them. Because to me, I consider remote ID to be overreach beyond a question of a doubt. I think it's too much. Now I want to be clear. I'm violently opposed to anybody operating a toy near a real airplane without the permission and guidance and cooperation of the operators of the aircraft and the participants inside the aircraft. So, let's not make any mistakes about that. Okay. These are toys and they don't belong near real aircraft, full stop, end of story. And I think if you fly one of these near a real aircraft, they should harm you. They should do bad things to you. Like stuff they did, to POWs stuff. It just, they don't belong. They don't mix. Right. So I'm not espousing any support at all for being a dumbass with the way you fly your aircraft. You shouldn't be flying near people. You shouldn't be flying near apartment building windows, trying to look in at girls changing their clothes. You shouldn't be flying over the top of buildings looking for nude sunbathers. You shouldn't be flying over populated areas, where if it drops, you're going to hurt somebody. I don't advocate any of that. But I think there's enough law in the books right now to deal with it, right? To do something about it and say, hey, you assaulted somebody with a weapon, right? There's plenty of law to deal with it today. So I have zero tolerance for stupidity when it comes to operating toys. But listen, if you're out at a bando, the buildings where these guys do the 3D, you don't need remote ID. I'm sorry, that's stupid. You don't need, they're freaking kids playing with toys. You don't need to put an ID on it. Just leave them alone. And for the guys operating at the bando, just stay at the bando and do your thing, right? And be cool. So I just think it's stupid. And I hope everybody ignores them. I hope everybody says, no, enough. We're not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm telling you that right now. So they want me, catch me. That's my answer. And that's on YouTube now. I can't take that back. But I'm not complying. I refuse to comply. I'm going to call this simple civil disobedience. I will not comply. And I know that can be used against me, and I'm going to take that risk, but we got to say enough, man. It's overreach. It just doesn't, It doesn't belong. These are toys. You know, you're talking about old guys at a field playing with model toys, right? And they're worried about, come on. If you want to get serious about something, get serious about things near an airport. Get serious about actually, here's an idea. Why don't you prosecute the people who are actually causing harm? Why don't we start with that? You know, if you guys want to do something, I watched a video today. Mark Rober put out his glitter bomb V5, whatever. I watched that video today. And literally, I'm not even making this up. In San Francisco, there are hoodlums that run around and steal stuff out of cars. Now, they don't even wait for the cars to be parked. They'll actually break into your car while you're operating the vehicle on the street. You come up to a stoplight, they look in, they see something, they walk up to your car, break your window, steal your stuff, get in and leave. You want to do something about law, go after those people. Go after people who are stealing, thieving, and hurting. You know, that's where you need to focus your energy, not on a bunch of old guys flying toy planes at a remote field, minding their own damn business. All right? So that's my attitude. I will not comply. I'm not going to comply. I'm not going to put a freaking remote ID in anything I own. They can kiss it. I'm just not going to do it. So sorry for the rant. I know that was a little bit of a tirade. Yeah, well, so Jeff says, now you can't arm a DJI drone. Boycott DJI. I'm not, you know, if it has remote ID and they're forcing you into it, stop buying it. You know, the people that comply, they have to be told, no, we're not interested. That's all there is to it. You can vote with your dollars, guys. And I know that's tough because I know DJI is good. I get it. You know, I get it. But there are other options too, you know, including building your own. You know what I mean? David Canute says you don't need it in an AMA field. I know, but the rule still applies. I look at a guy like Robert. Robert's out there flying his own stuff. You know, if he's out flying, he's got some property, he flies. Do you need remote ID there? Well, technically you do. And I'm sorry, I'm just simply not going to comply with that. And there are other fields that aren't necessarily going to be designated AMA FRIAs. They operate according to AMA rules, but they're not going to be FRIAs. Those guys technically need remote ID. And I just call BS, man. The government needs to spend their time worrying about things that matter. This doesn't matter. It's a joke. It's overreach, and it's been blown out of proportion. And what they really need to do, that guy in Philadelphia, the $285,000 fine, don't let him off. Don't let him off. Take his house, take his car, take his everything. You know, garnish his wages. He was a dumbass. That's the guy that causes the problems for us. He's the guy. That's the guy. That's the one they need to go after. So they need to prosecute that, right? They need to stop worrying about what we're doing at these abandoned fields and out in country fields. It's not material. It's not relevant to the reality in the world today, and they can suck it. I am not putting remote ID on my planes. So Jeff, that you opened up a can of worms there, but that's why I don't talk about remote ID, because I'm not going to give them the airtime, man. F them. I'm just not going to support them. And I'm going to encourage every single one of you guys, ignore them. Tell them absolutely no. Don't do it. Don't buy it. And if the companies are forcing you to have it, like DJI, tell them to take a hike too. Get something else. And on that note, I think we're at the end. Sucks that I live in California. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I kind of come from that frame of mind that says, listen, don't touch me, don't touch my stuff, don't touch my people, and you go do your thing, and that's fine. I don't care what you do. I don't care. I don't care who you love. I don't care who you sleep with. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. Just don't touch me, my stuff, or my people, right? And if you don't do that, then we're okay. You know, go mind your own business. I don't care if you smoke pot in your house. It's not my business, man. I'm a grown-ass man. You're a grown-ass man. You want to smoke pot in your house? Go ahead. I don't care. But if you get in your car and drive because you're high and you crash into me, they should throw you away and hurt you and take everything from you, right? Because because you were smoking pot and you're irresponsible, you got into a car and you hurt somebody. Now you deserve to be punished. And there should be no remorse, no relentless, no relenting on that punishment. You know what I mean? That's how I view the world. Like, do what you want to do. I don't care. Just don't mess with me when you do it. You know what I mean? I don't care. I don't care. You're a grown man. I'm not your dad. I'm not your priest. And I'm not your counselor. So if you want to smoke weed, go ahead. You want to drink whiskey? Go ahead. You want to drink bourbon? Go ahead. You want to drink tequila? I don't care. Just don't mess with me when you do it. You mess with me when you do it, and I'm going to come after you however I can. And that's the way it should be. America was founded on this premise of being a free country. Our forefathers fought for the concept of freedom from persecution, freedom from government overreach, freedom of religion. That's what it's about. So just, do your thing. Leave me alone. I'll hang out who I want to hang out with. I'll be friends who I want to hang out with. I'll socialize with people I want to socialize with. And other than that, just try and stay out of my life, man. And I think if the government realized they took their hands out of the pie, left everything alone, the world would get better. Because I'll tell you something, man, here's the reality of life, right? I traveled, I was in the Navy, I went to foreign places, I met foreign people. And here's what I learned. They all want the same stuff. Everybody wants the same. I went to Muscat, Oman. I sat with a guardsman at a Muscat, Oman Coast Guard's base. And we were talking. He had very broken English and I had no Omani, none. And we did find a way to communicate. And what I learned about them was that they all want the same. They want the same thing I want. They want electrical. They want electricity and a home and a roof, that are safe and clean with power. They want food. They want education. They want safety, and they want healthcare. And they want an education for their kids. That's pretty much it. That describes like the core nut for everybody in the world. It's not the people that are the problem. It's the damn governments that get in the way that cause the problem. Because no, you have our oil, you have our property line, you have this, you have that. It's always the governments that have to bicker about stuff. It's the people don't really care. They're like, yeah, I just want to make sure that I have a house and education and my kids are healthy, and they can eat food and go to bed warm at night, right? That's what they want. That's what I learned. And that's how I've tried to live my life. Just do your thing, leave me alone. I'll hang who I want to hang with, All right. How many accidents occur with full-size aircraft compared to RC planes? Yeah, exactly. What Jeff just brought up. So we just had that crash in Dallas, man, the Dallas Air Show. Some pilot who's been flying these commercial, the air show shenanigans for a lot of years crashed into a bomber and killed, the pilot, the bomber, everybody. That's the stuff they should focus on. Why are they worried about a little toy plane? I mean, give me a break. As long as people comply, the government will continue to overreach. That's right. That's a fact. Just don't comply. The FAA, listen, man, the FAA knows full well, they said it straight up. Compliance is the only chance we have for success. If they don't voluntarily comply, then this is not going to work. And I'll tell you what, here's the answer. I'm going to tell you guys all the same answer, okay? If you're out there flying and you get interrogated by somebody, here's all you have to say, and you'll get out of it. Oh, I didn't know. I'm an old man. I'm confused. I want to be honest and get out of your situation and go do it again. That's all you have to do, because in their own guideline, they say, well, we should focus on education and reform, not punishment. Read the book. I read the book. I know their playbook. So if you go in with this mindset of don't be confrontational with an agent, you say, oh, I had no idea. I'm such an idiot. I'm so stupid. I can't believe it. What do I have to do to comply? Then as soon as they release you, go back and ignore them again. Read the book. That's all I can tell you. I was the one getting kicked out of stores during COVID because I refused to wear a mask. Good for you. Yeah, that turned out to be a waste too, didn't it? Those businesses, they want me to come and spend my money and require me to wear. Yep, that's right. That's how I feel. Thanks for your service. You're welcome, Fred. I appreciate that. It was my honor to serve. I learned a lot about life in those days. Jeff H., let's not discuss difficult problems when we could mount a campaign against the little guy. Yeah, right. Exactly. Why don't you go solve Pareto's principle says 80-20. You could spend the 20% of your effort to solve 80% of your problems. And I got news for you. It's not remote control planes or airplanes or quads or helis. That's not the problem. Go focus on the real issues. They're just idiots. The people who govern, we elect morons. That's all I can say. We elect idiots. And then they get together and they're big idiots, I would try, but I'm afraid my Tourette's might kick in. I'm triggered now. Yeah. Long jammer. Absolutely well said, John. If I was in the military, I would salute you, sir. Cheers from Al in the UK. You're welcome, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Why do you think the government is overreaching? Because people are stupid and because the media blows stuff out of proportion. Here's what happens. The internet is what changed everything. We used to have newspapers where things were slowed down just a little bit, and it gave time for common sense to kick in. But now you have this instantaneous gratification, instantaneous news, and you guys know the current economy is eyeballs, right? It's real simple. Everyone's after the eyeballs. So you do and say things to get you the eyeballs because that's what gets you the money. That's what gets you the juicy YouTube money, guys. You got to get the eyeballs. You get the views. Why do you think we always ask for subscribers and comments and thumbs up? That's why we do it, because we want the eyeballs, because the more eyeballs we get, the more views we get, the more commercials they put on our videos, and the more juicy YouTube money we get. That's the deal. So they overreach because the media sensationalizes bullshit. That's what they do. A drone just about crashed into a 747, killing 247 people. Except it didn't, and it wasn't even close to the 747, and there weren't 247 people on board. So they do that for, it's called clickbait. So, and then the government reacts to that stuff. They see it, and you know, the Karens at home, they go, oh my God, we can't have drone flyers flying drones around the sky without. Okay, so that's one reason. The second reason, look, I used to run a very big corporate organization, and I used to tell people, follow the money. The second reason they're overreaching is because enterprise has figured out how to monetize the sky. They can't monetize the sky if all of us are up there flying our stupid little drones all over the place without any rules. So what do? They lobby, and they say, hey, listen, if we can control the sky, we can crunch those people down to this space, then we can fly up here and we can monetize, right? That's why they're overreaching, because it's about, you got to follow the money, man. You got to follow the money. We have 5 common senses and thinking isn't one of them. That's right. Girls fishing in bikinis amount of 5. Yeah. Yeah. That's another one that drives me crazy, are the YouTube channels that use boobs for video hits. I won't do it. I won't do it. I've thought about it. I've got access to females who would be like, sure. Yeah. Go ahead, take a picture. You know, they wouldn't mind. I could do it, but I'm not going to do that. I won't sink to that level. It's just, this is about the hobby. That's why I also don't appear on video. It's not about me. It's about the hobby. Robert, bingo, John. That's the only reason why these drone policies or laws are in. It's all about money, man. It's about money. Totally agree. They want to make money off it. Well, think about what they did with the radio space. Why do you think you have 2.4 gigahertz in the ISM band? We used to use 72, didn't we? Right? But why do you think that all exists? It's because you go read how much Verizon and AT&T and T-Mobile have paid the U.S. government for spectrum in the United States frequency module range. Go read. You'll be blown away. They auction the stuff off for billions of dollars. Billions. I'm not kidding. Look it up. Go read how much AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, Vodacom, and all the others. What's the one up in Canada? I forget the carrier up in Canada, but go read. You'll find out they auction off. And by the way, that's ours. That's ours. That airspace is ours. It's not, it doesn't belong to the government. It belongs to the people of the United States, but they auction it off. So that $5 billion they got from that last auction, where did that go? Where did that go? Did that pay off debt? Did you get a check? You know, did the government say, hey, great news, we sold off the spectrum, we got $5 billion, we're going to divide that by 100 million adults, so everybody's going to get a check for $100,000. Did they do that? No, they didn't do that. They kept it. They sent it to some country somewhere that they're trying to control or oppress or whatever. You know, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. It's about, you got to follow the money. Anytime you have one of these questions, like, why the hell are they doing it? Follow the money. Go look at the money. That's the first question you need to ask. Go look at the money. All right. Thought you were going to say I've got boobs. I do not have boobs. No, not really. I'm not. I don't need, you know, I don't even really have man boobs. I'm good. I'm good. Still solid up there, you know. Bell, Telus, Rogers, Shaw. Yeah, those guys. Go look up Bell, Telus, Rogers, and Shaw and see how much they pay for spectrum space in Canada. You guys would be pissed off when you do. Guarantee that. Videotron, if they're still out around east. Yeah. Is it mooses or meese, Robert? Alberta. All right. Economic class. Yep. Yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what it boils down to. And Huawei. Yeah. The crazy thing is that the bad actors read offenders will never comply. That's right. That's the same issue with guns. You know, all these people, I don't want to get on a gun control thing, but man, all these people, you know what my idea of gun control is? It's a good stance and a firm grip. That's gun control. You know, it's not going to, you can write all the laws you want to talk, all the laws you want to take about gun control. It's not going to change a damn thing. I got news for you. You think I'm giving up my gun? You better come with your own, because I'm not giving it to you. You're not getting my guns. And the reason for that is because that's how you suppress people. That's how the criminals get the upper hand. I remember, I'm not kidding about this, man. I remember when they passed Castle Doctrine in Ohio, they did an interview with inmates in prison. They went to the inmates in prison. They said, hey, Ohio just passed Castle Law. What do you think about that? And the inmate said, man, that sucks. The reporter said, why does it sucks? He said, that's because that's how people get killed. Yeah. Well, I got news for you. If you're inside my house at 2:00 in the morning, we have a problem. Remember that part about don't mess with me and my stuff? There you go. Right? If you're in my house at 2 in the morning, you're not invited, you're not supposed to be here. You're out. Yeah, that's a problem. You're gonna hear a sound once. That'll be the last sound you hear. So that's the thing about gun control, right? I'm not a lunatic. My guns are locked up. They're put away. I know how to get them. I know how to use them, but it doesn't change the behavior, right? If you can write my favorite story that I like to tell when people ask about gun control is, consider this. Let's just say, for example, I'm a bank robber. I get up in the morning and I get my gun and I get my mask and I put my mask on my head and I get in the car with my buddies and we drive to the bank and I get out and I put my mask on and I walk up to the door with my gun and there's a sign on the window that says no guns allowed. I'm not going to go, oh, turn around and walk away and go back to the car and go, crap, guys, they don't allow guns in there. That's the problem. The people who are going to violate the law don't give a crap what's on the books in terms of law. They don't care. They don't care. All these laws that they write, they're only hurting people like me who are going to obey the law anyway. You know, when it comes to guns, that's serious because you're talking felonies now, right? So yeah, I'm not going to go to a school with my gun. That's stupid. Unless the school allows it. You know, if the school allows it, then I would. But that's the thing with gun control. It doesn't change the behavior of bad actors, right? It only influences and impacts you, the person that pays the taxes, that obeys the law, that registers the car, that has a title, that doesn't break into cars to steal backpacks. That's who it impacts. It doesn't impact the idiots out there who are going to steal and hurt and murder and kill anyway. You think all these thugs that run around in New York City give a shit about gun laws? Give me a break. You think they care? They don't care. And what's worse, the Democratic engine, I don't want to say Democratic engine, but the DA engine that's in place just says, oh, that's fine. Just let them out. We'll just let them out. We won't worry about bail. Bail's $500. Go ahead. We'll see you in court in a couple weeks. All right. That's what they do these days. They don't care. Those are the problems that need to be solved. Not where you freaking have, you know, not where you have a damn remote ID airplane flying around in a farm field somewhere. That's not a problem to solve. The problem to solve is, why are bad people hurting good people? Why do we have 3.5 million people coming across the border without permission? Like, I'm all about immigration. This country's built on it. I get it, but you got to follow the rules, don't you? You know, why just come here? Maybe they're following my advice on remote ID. Hell with them. But see, I'm a citizen. I don't belong here, so I can say that. Finally, a fellow patriot in this hobby. You know it, man. I have very strong opinions. I try not to get them because I've done it in the past, and the people on the other side just violently disagree and they get upset. But, you know, that's okay. Ignore my earlier request for a future topic on remote ID. Yeah, I think we covered it, Jeff. You know where I stand. I mean, I appreciate the question, but yeah. And look, man, it's real simple for me. Just be cool. Mind your own damn business. You know, do your own thing. Don't hurt other people. Don't mess with other people's stuff. And if you do mess with somebody else's stuff on accident, you fly your plane into their car, pony up and fix it. Give them the money, let you fix it. Don't ask someone else to, you did it, you fix it. So, you know, if you have insurance, fine. You know, you can pay because you pay for insurance, right? That's why you do it. But if you make a mistake, you are obligated. Don't argue about it. Don't be that guy, right? Pay for your mistakes. So you make a mistake, pay for it. You don't have to be the one to, yeah, own it. That's right. Own it. Just step up. Be a man about it, for Pete's sake. All right. All right, guys. That was my rant. Is anybody still here? Is it more than 3 people here? I have to look. Let's see who's here. Oh, we still have 40 people. I guess I didn't shut you guys down. I always get worried that if we get off topic like that it's going to get shut down. But yeah, it looks like there's some interest in the conversation. So that's right, Robert. Own it, man. Man up. To me, manhood is not toxic. Being a man is not toxic. Being a man is taking care of responsibilities, taking care of people that are smaller than you, owning your responsibilities, paying your bills, paying your taxes, and making contributions to society, not constantly subtracting from society, right? It's being a positive element within society. That's what it's about. You gained 1K new subscribers. Well, that'd be awesome, man. I'd love it. Hope so. Any idea if Edge will ever get more logical switches? You know, hey, Craig, that's an idea. You can always, I mean, if you use them all, God bless you. But if you think you need more, the real opportunity there is to go to the EdgeTX GitHub and put a issue request in, feature request. That's the way you get that kind of stuff done. So if you think you need more logical switches, go ahead and ask for it. I'm sure that they will, you know, I'm sure that the EdgeTX developers are receptive to things like that. You want to be able to explain it though. You know, here's why. Wow, 3 planes you use every logical switch. That is impressive. That's impressive. That's a lot. 16 channels. That's definitely impressive. I think I've used every control on a radio, but I don't know if I've hit all 16 channels yet. That's a lot to remember. All right, fellas. Well, hey, listen, we are way off topic at this point, but I'm glad you all stuck around. It looks like there's some interest in the conversation, so I didn't lose you. maybe we have like minds. I figured if half of you were on the other side of the ideological spectrum, that the concurrent views would have dropped off, but apparently not. Apparently we have some similar thought patterns on this channel. Anyway, I appreciate you all hanging out with me on Friday night. I hope you enjoyed this very unorthodox ending to a pilot jam. And I want to remind you guys on patreon.com, $3 a month if you want to help out. Definitely give me a thumbs up and leave a comment in the video. That always helps. That's all I've got for tonight. Keep an eye on the video for more to come. It'll be on the way. That's for sure. All right, fellas, take it easy. Have a great weekend.